Woo! What is up, YouTube? My Cowboys family here, bringing you guys the latest update on our very own Dallas Cowboys. And of course, as always, thank you so much for chilling here, hanging with us. Take a second to hit like, subscribe, hit that notification bell. Follow us anywhere and everywhere at My Cowboys Family. Hop the Discord link for that's in the description box down below. But we do have, some people to shout out here before we begin to discuss,
unravel this mess,
whatever the heck
Cowboy team
we witnessed on Sunday.
It was pretty bad, pretty ugly, and we will quickly go through it, not to suffer too much more from this Week 6 embarrassment as we head into our bye week.
What a wonderful taste to leave in our mouth as we head into our bye week.
But even something bigger happened than that. Can you believe that today? And that's the guy in the middle of your screen. Not McCarthy, not Dak, not Trayvon Diggs, but right there at the bottom of the middle of the screen, I guess I should say, Jerry Jones. And he should be red in that picture because that's the way he sounded today, like an angry old man. And really, honestly, it all adds up to what we've seen, from Jerry Jones today. And what we've been saying for almost 8 years on this channel. Almost 8 years we've been saying this about Jerry Jones. Today, everybody actually seen it. Finally, I had to admit it to themselves. Even the Jerry Jones apologists, they had to accept it. MCF was right. There's no place for that. And again, a lot of you guys as well are right. A lot of us were right about this. But man, for 8 years we've been saying this. Today,
we really saw a crack. Yeah. So we'll get into that in just a second. But first, we do have to shout out the people who helped make MCF happen here, and representing once more. As the sponsor of the week is the man, John Luna.
John Luna,
thank you so much,
love.
Mr.
He
Luna.
also just won the monthly jersey raffle here. So John Luna is the sponsor of the week, back-to-back, like our 90s Cowboys. But he was unable to go back-to-back on the gifting membership board because we have a gifting queen in the house, a membership gifting queen, and her name is Chill Pill.
Woo,
she dropped that 10 last on game day and took it over. So big shout outs to Chill Pill, who's by the way repping it for 3 months over on the After Dark channels. So big shout outs to Chill Pill there. And of course, you see the king of the Cash App. That was Cat 52 last week, but this week it's the man who's staying skeptical. And hey, pretty much calling the blowouts here, with myself after that first quarter. I was calling pretty much the score that happened. Staying skeptical. Yeah. All of us must stay skeptical if you're a Cowboy fan with this team and this coaching staff and this front office. Yeah, Skeptical Fan is our Cash App king.
Shout out to you, Skeptical.
Yeah, Jet Lee 44. Much love to you. It's 62 points on the stream, boss. In that yellow there, still hanging on. That yellow, orange, red. That's Niners colors. We gotta get, we gotta see what happens there. That's the next team we get. Before we even think about them, we gotta, kind of break down quickly what happened this last game and break down what Jerry Jones said today, amongst other things. But guys, as we get rolling here, kicking off a brand new week, there's a bunch of ways to help out the channel. That's the super chat side of things that, of course, you see at the bottom right there through YouTube. There's also the thanks button when the video posts. There's memberships, of course. That's always out there with 4 different levels of the membership. And then once you're in the membership, you can gift memberships as well, which is one of the best ways of like helping out the channel and also helping out the family here in the chat. So big shout outs to the gifting queen, Chill Pill, on that note there. And there's 4 other ways outside of the YouTube way, which we kind of do on the After Dark side. You can help out the channel as well, baby. You
have, of course, the Cash App, money sign My Cowboys Family, the Venmo at My-Cowboys-Family, the regular PayPal link, and the Streamlabs link lets your comment show up on screen just like a super chat would.
Yep. So, by the way, this week's, current leaders, of course, brand new week. So nobody on the leaderboard, nobody as the leader in the Cash App, and nobody in the gifting lead as of the moment. It's just a new week. Also, shout out to the star level and over everything level of our membership crew there. Of course, you got the navy blue and silver, but that the top shelf, star level, and over everything level memberships are put into a monthly jersey raffle. Star level gets 1 raffle entry. Over everything gets 2 raffle entries. And then you also have weekly winners. Just heard John Luna.
Yeah.
Whether he's in the membership or not, he's in the membership, but let's say he wasn't. You get yourself a raffle entry, a chance to win a sewn and stitched jersey of your choice. And, obviously, up to this point, we've given out every jersey we've given out. It's in some, sort or fashion of the Dallas Cowboys, whether it's old school, new school, whatever, old, current player, old player, new player. But this is our first time we're going to be giving out a jersey, and it's not even it's not a Cowboy jersey. It's going to be not even a football jersey. It is a Houston Astros jersey. So John Luna, big winner. He won the last our September monthly raffle. Big shout outs to him and those in the Top Shelf memberships, those weekly winners. Again, like John Luna is in the star level, he gets one raffle entry, but then a bonus entry.
Yeah.
Because last month he had two bonus entries. He won 2 times. He already started off with 2 wins in October, so we'll see what happens there. Now, baby, who are the star level and over everything level members?
Huge shout out to Skeptical Fan, Jetly44, LC, John Luna, and Over Everything, Chill Pill.
Yeah. Appreciate you in the Over Everything. We'll hear from Seabass, who was in the Over Everything. He will be appearing here, hopefully, sometime in this bye week here. So we'll be hearing from one of our superstar Over Everything Over Everything member guests. And also, if Chill Pill wants to come on, she's of course more than welcome to jump on here and voice her opinions on anything she wants to discuss. Now, on that note, baby, let's shout out people in the chat so we can get going with the news, info, and updates on our Dallas Cowboys.
All right, we have James Herr in the house. What's up? Texas Twister, stay safe out there on the road.
Yeah.
Antoine Scott, much love. Colleen K, always glad to have you in here saying hello and hi. We have Ramesh. Thanks for being here. Charles Brown, yeah, it is crazy. Duarte Thomas, Jerry's definitely something. Cam and AZ, hello and hi. Pat Pfeiffer, much love.
Hey.
Always go Cowboys.
Always.
Texas Cat, we're definitely going to talk about Jerry's decisions here because remember, since he runs the show, he is the guy making these decisions.
He had 3 possible times to speak today. We'll tell you what happened. Yeah.
So Frankie Frank, hello and hi. Skeptical Fan, always staying skeptical, saying Dak is really sucking this year. Wonder why. Would it have anything to do with the lack of run game, lack of proper offensive line, and lack of, offensive game plan?
And but also maybe a lack of Dak's ability too.
Yeah.
Whether it's that or not that, Dak's still making some poor decisions when he has time.
Brandon J, what's up?
Dak is sucking.
Yes, Modius, much love. Freedom first was first. Good for you. Yeah, burn the playbook, and that's my point. The playbook is doing him absolutely no favors.
It's doing nobody favors on his entire offense. But anyways, we'll get into this in a minute. Let me get it rolling here, baby. Thank you.
Jumping the gun there.
Yeah,
Sorry.
let's get going here. It's a quickie tonight because we're not going to spend too much time on these ugly ass losses. There's nothing to say. You guys saw the massacre of the Cowboys. You can see it 47-9, and we'll dive into that in a minute. First, let's start with NFL news. I'm not even talking about Monday Night Football. Who gives a damn? We're talking about NFL league meetings. Kicking it off on the non-Cowboy direct stuff. But in Atlanta, they had the last this week. They're gonna have league meetings in Atlanta, and it's kicked off. Troy Vincent said the increase in penalties on the violent celebration gestures, like the guns and the thing,
like they're
cracking down. He said because quote, "There's no place in professional football for that. Think about where we are as a society. I don't think that's where we are, and that's what we're trying to represent. We have a responsibility as professional athletes," end quote. And I agree 100% with that. Although I do sometimes think it's a little overboard. I understand why they're being hard on that in this climate we're in, I guess you can say, right? What do you think, baby? Any quick thoughts?
Yeah, I'm a little more in between, I have to be honest. I understand why they don't necessarily want to glorify weapon culture, gun culture, or whatever, but at the same time, this is America,
It's all around us constantly, right? It is all around us constantly, the gun culture, but they're trying to do their part and not push it. So I don't mind that. I just think some of the it was just silly to me to see CeeDee Lamb put his thumb down on a first down. When
That's what I'm saying.
He did the first down. It was just put his thumb down. Yeah. It was just like almost saying, "Hey, I got an extra thumb first down," and they called it a gun, and now he got fined. It just sounds silly, And
just throwing this out there, maybe it's the gamer in me as well, but sounds a little silly to say, but I don't necessarily always associate a gun or shooting motion with an actual human in real life gun. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I hear you.
I don't know what to say. Anyway,
can't blame
that's
video
all.
games.
So Harley Dad, that's the wrong channel. Thanks for being here. What's up? Hashtag Aguilar04. Much love to you. Exactly. It's like it's all around us. I don't think it's as big of a deal, but I understand why they don't want to glorify gun culture. So, like I said, I understand. I just do think it's a little bit snowflakey.
Yeah.
But
It's
hey.
interesting how we see this topic differently. Usually it's the other way around.
I agree.
That's interesting. Anyways, another thing that came out of today's meetings, Tom Brady. Yes, he's not a broadcaster, 6-time championship winner, 7-time winner, I guess. But he's now officially been approved by the NFL owners as a limited partner of the Las Vegas Raiders. Something he's been trying to do for a couple of years. With his 5% stake being official now, he has to have a total purchase of 10% by Brady and his partner. His playing career is now has to be officially over. There's no more comebacks.
Yeah,
Once you're an owner,
you can't own
play.
and play.
Yeah, it's just part of the rules of the NFL. So if you're winning, Brady's going to make a surprise comeback unless he sells his shares and comes back to the NFL. He can never, ever play in the NFL ever again, which I think we'll, at 40, whatever, almost 50, we can kind of assume that was going to be the case. Now, huge trade. Like, we're going to hear from Jerry Jones in a minute. And, I mean, it's fucking insane what he says. And, again, it kind of shows you like the blindness or the way he kind of tries to play the fan base, Jerry Jones.
He really does.
And some people are finally seeing it now. We've known it for years and decades, honestly, here at my side. But on the channel from the beginning, we've been always like, this front office is the foundational cracking issues. They come from the foundational cracks of this team, which is the Jerry Jones and Stephen Jones and the ownership front office side of things. So Jerry Jones made a comment about not being able to make trades. We'll talk about that later. Before this trade deadline on November 5th. Oh, we're not going to be able to make trades. It's too late for that stuff. Literally today was like 6 trades. And the biggest one being the Raiders. And it's just not even, there's a lot of big ones. The Raiders traded their wide receiver, Devante Adams. Remember, he was with the Packers, right? And he was playing with Aaron Rodgers in Green Bay. He got traded to the Jets.
Surprise, surprise.
And now, it's funny how we see the coach gone, like McCarthy was gone. In New York, Saleh was fired. A lot of people say it was Aaron Rodgers doing, right? Same thing happened in Green Bay when he was there with McCarthy.
Yeah.
McCarthy was pushed out because Aaron Rodgers didn't want him there. Of course, it was not a good showing. Similar to kind of feeling with Saleh, and then now he has his offensive coordinator there now. He's had him there for 2 years, and now he brings in his buddy that he has great success later in his career in Green Bay, Devante Adams from the Raiders. So it seems like he's the GM for the Green Bay Packers. 7 days after the Jets fired their head coach, and less than 24 hours after that primetime loss to the Bills, which was the Monday Night Football game. It was 23-20, I think the Bills won. The Jets said, hell with this, 2-4. They said they agreed to a trade for Devante Adams from the Raiders. And Vegas is going to receive a conditional 2025 third-round pick in exchange for Devante Adams. So now that seems to me be a great deal there, right, for the Jets. Of course, remember, they have to take on a large part of his contract.
They do.
That's one of the big issues there. So this third-rounder can become a second-round pick if Devante Adams becomes a first- or second-team All-Pro this year, or if he's on the active roster if the Jets happen to make the AFC Championship game or Super Bowl, of course. So those are the ways you can see that go up to a second-round pick. Worth it to me, as far as minus the money. Worth it to me as far as for the player you're getting from the Raiders. Remember, he wanted to be gone, Devante Adams from the Vegas Raiders.
That was pretty clear. So and we already know that they obviously have a good synergy.
Yeah, and Rodgers and
something
Adams.
That's lacking for the Jets and Aaron Rodgers, right?
Feels like
he
that.
needs a receiver that he likes, knows, and trusts.
Yeah, and this is going to be his, his best. I guess he feels. I'm sure Aaron Rodgers feels this way, and the front office agrees. I forget the owner's name, but point is that they agree. I think Aaron Rodgers says this is my best chance to win with this team. Bring me my guys, and that's what they're doing. So they're listening to him. They agree to take on the Jets agree to take on the rest of Devante Adams' salary in order to get this deal done. His base salary, $16.89 million, and also has another $510,000 per game in active roster bonuses. So the Jets are going to take on the prorated portion of that, which comes out. Remember, every week it came out to $1 million less.
Yeah.
Now it's down to basically the $11.6 million what the Jets are going to pay. Not bad.
I mean, I was gonna say they got him at a good point in the season.
Yeah,
there.
for
Save themselves a little bit of money.
Yeah, for a 3rd round pick, that can be a 2nd round pick.
Yeah.
If he is on the All Pro teams, which it could be with Aaron Rodgers, but that's a really tough thing to make. And then it's harder than the Pro Bowl. You know, it's the All Pro, and of course, or being the AFC Championship game. I don't see the Jets being the AFC Championship game. So again, it's going to seem to me, if I was going to bet, I'd say he's a 3rd rounder, worth it. Even if, obviously you want to be a 2nd rounder, that means that you got incredible production from him, and maybe you're in the championship or Super Bowl. Then it's worth it, even more so, to give up that 2nd round pick. But point is, Devante Adams was there before even they opened the doors this morning. He was there, and he's undergoing a physical. I think tomorrow will become official. He missed the past 3 games because of a hamstring injury with the Raiders, so now he's going to get a fresh start. Boom, right there with his guy, Aaron Rodgers. The injury is reported to be he's good to go, by the way. So,
I do think it's kind of funny.
What do you think? Yeah.
Especially just because a few weeks ago we just watched that receiver show where he was like
on Netflix,
supposedly all in on,
on the Raiders,
the new Raiders regime and everything they were doing there, settling into Vegas. And
I remember Carr got booted over to the Saints, and then I'm just saying, like, he lost a lot of the pieces that were even around him for the show last year.
So that's all.
Now, it's crazy to me. That's the first. I think the Jets are doing everything they can for Aaron Rodgers in this.
I mean, that's all they got. So, and yeah, thanks for being here, Matt Batten. Much love.
Woody Johnson from the Jets. Thank you.
Brandon J.
Yes, thank you, Matt. That. Thank you for the comments about Matt. Thank you.
So way up dude said the Cowboys need better steroids, MCF.
gotta call Walk, I think. Let's get Walk for the Cowboys, I think. Send those steroids to Texas. But the problem is, if they get caught, they get kicked out of the league.
Yeah.
So that would kind of suck.
The other comment I was going to read is about the other kind of major move that was made today.
Oh, yeah.
I know you this touch on, I think.
This literally is also touching on the Dallas Cowboys.
Yeah.
It shows you the inabilities of the front office. Just another example. But this kind of not even part of – this would have been an example of me just ranting about the Cowboys front office again and Jerry Jones and Stephen Jones. But today the Cleveland Browns decided to trade their wide receiver, Amari Cooper. Hey, he was a former Cowboy a couple years ago. He went – guys, you remember what we traded him for? A 5th-round pick. After we announced that we were going to cut him. Mm-hmm. And then we're like, oh, wait, we want to trade him. So the Browns said, you know what, rather than get into a bidding war, let's just trade for him and give him the contract he wants. They gave him a 5th-round pick to the Cowboys. Mm-hmm. So we got a 5th-round pick for Amari Cooper. That's that. So the trade, that stuff's orchestrated by Stephen Jones, by the way. The son of Jerry Jones, the COO of the Dallas Cowboys. So the trade market heating up. As Jerry Jones says, there's no trading abilities out there and nobody to trade for. Amari Cooper is going from the Browns to the Buffalo Bills. I don't really care which team he goes to. Okay, he goes to the Bills, AFC team, to an AFC team. What do the Browns get? The Browns get a 3rd-round pick. Basically with Devante Adams.
Have you ever bought a car and then sold it a few years later and sold it for more money?
Ever.
Just wondering.
That's just everyone knows that you drive that brand new car off the lot. It's already you already lost money once you drive it off the lot and you bought the car. So same thing.
Tell me after all these years, all the miles you put on this car, all the wear and tear, doesn't matter. You took it to the mechanic and did all the stuff. Like you still is it really worth more than it was before?
The Cowboys front office traded away. We didn't trade away Skeptical Fan, who dropped that 5 on it, kicking off the first drop of the week.
Woo!
And of the night, of course, here. So appreciate you, Skeptical Fan, staying skeptical. What did the man say?
If Jerry was a doctor, he would have been sued for malpractice.
Exactly. And he's an 82-year-old doctor.
I wish you could sue him for emotional pain and suffering.
I mean, we would definitely win. If it was allowed, we'd definitely win in court.
A class action lawsuit.
What do you think about that? Yes.
Skeptical Fan, much love. Yeah, I think Dr. Jones needs to hang up his football stethoscope.
I like Dr. Jera better. It sounds scarier. Jera. That sounds a lot scarier. If Dr. Jera's coming in.
Yeah, Dr. Jones makes him sound too official.
Exactly. Dr. Jera sounds like he just came out of a barn and he's about to kill you. I don't know. It's like the Chainsaw Massacre. I don't know. But the point is, Dr. Jera is definitely not the guy I would be. Yeah. Look, he's not the smartest guy in the book, in my opinion. No. Anyways, I'll let you hit the chat up real quick. Yeah. Because to me, this is the Cowboys getting hoodwinked. And on purpose. Like, we give a fifth, they get and Devante, for the same guy 2 years later, gets a third. It's incredible. Actually, let me say it. It's a 2025 third rounder and a 2026 seventh rounder is what the Browns get. And the Bills get Amari Cooper and a 2025 sixth rounder. So basically, they flip-flop 2026, 2025, sixth round pick to seventh round picks. They switch those. And the only other thing is a third for Amari. That's it. So basically, they got a lot more for Amari Cooper. The Cleveland Browns, 2 years after Amari Cooper, got a lot more from Amari Cooper than we did. Yeah, I'm sorry, Gary. I just want to make the whole thing clear for that.
All good. So shout out to the man John Luna, by the way, the sponsor of the week.
Much love.
Chat, what's up?
And the big winner of the jersey, too.
Antoine Scott said, welcome to Buffalo, Cooper. So Juan Carlos, hello and hi.
They're making moves. Teams that want to win make moves.
And I have to be honest, it's not even necessary. It is, actually, it's both. It is about the fact that we didn't go after Cooper now. Considering our current receiver situation, I'm just saying, like...
Yeah, but remember the vaccine situation and all that stuff?
That's a separate thing.
I know.
And shout out to John Luna with his membership message.
October membership message. What did the man say?
He said, I'm so glad that y'all came across my feed. I so enjoy listening to y'all's perspective and knowledge about your football team.
Appreciate you. And we're very honored to have you come across our feed and pick us up here and stick with us, because I know we're passionate, we're loud, we're angry, we curse, but we are real.
It's not the season that we wanted to have.
This is going to be a lot of cursing this year. And we didn't even get to the cursing yet when it comes to Jerry Jones, but this is the pre-cursing, the pre-rant. So appreciate you, John. Thank you. And hey, listen, brother, you came on here. He made his mark already, and he's taken over some of the boards and just came in there and pulled out a win on a jersey. So congrats, big shout outs, huge love to him as he's got the back-to-back sponsor of the week.
Yeah. And hey, James Hearn, normally I would somewhat agree, but clearly by Jerry's reaction, he does care. Right? James Hearn said, like I said, Jerry does what he wants. You don't like it, don't support it. Simple, because fans' opinions don't mean crap to Jerry.
Well,
now, like I said, normally I would agree, but he's clearly bothered by the overwhelming, blame that's being placed directly at his feet. But we'll get to that in a second.
At a certain point, when you are an owner and GM, and you say that the buck stops here, I make the final decisions. If you say that, you gotta take it when it's bad too. And Jerry can't do that. He needs his either yes men, people that will be puppets for him, which we've been saying for years, or you hit the road. That's not a winning organization. That's all I've been saying for 8 years. I support the star over everything. That's over Jerry Jones.
Yep.
There'll be a different owner one day. It won't be the Joneses in 100 years, all right? Like it will be different ownership eventually. So in my mind, I don't care about the owners, the coaches, the players. In the end, it's the star over everything. And that means my favorite players of all time, like Aikman and Irvin and Emmitt Smith, my favorite of all time, and others, Tom Landry's and Jimmy Johnson's, the star over everything and everyone. I mean that. So, yeah, it's not about Jerry makes the decisions for me to be my fandom. Hell no. Never. But I'm a fan, and I can and will criticize a schmuck when I see one, and Jerry Jones is a dumb fuck. Now, he might be smart when it comes to oil and business. He's a dumb fuck when it comes to
managing and running this football team.
No. Managing and running the team, he's a master. He's a genius. He's made the richest franchise. He's a dumb fuck when it comes to winning organization when it comes to a football team. That is where Jerry Jones is a big failure. And you know what? He knows it. That's why it's bothering him. He knows it, that he can't win it without Jimmy Johnson. He knows it. He's going to go to his grave never doing it, and we're going to suffer for it. Am I ranting already? Shit.
Hey.
All right, I'll stop. I'll slow down.
One man's ego.
I'll slow down. I'll save that for later. I feel a heart attack coming on.
See Vass, much love, saying fucking failure of a GM. Yeah, definitely very frustrating. And Azteca, hopefully, save some of those thoughts for some of the post-Jerry discussion, in the sense of what you would like to see actually happen versus what Jerry says is going to happen. So.
Yeah, I mean, for me, I think we discussed it here. Actually, it was funny during the game. on against the Lions, and I think I came to a premonition that the only chance we really have is when Jerry Jones dies. Stephen Jones is smart enough to not be the GM. If he can assign anybody to be a fucking GM, at least we have a position now. Once we get a position of GM, maybe this motherfucker will never take it back. And Jerry Jones will never give it up. But when he dies, someone's got to take it. And hopefully it will be like a Will McClay, who now will be given the freedom to do what he needs to do to win.
Let the owners own. Let the GMs GM. Yes. Let the head coaches head coach.
Jerry Jones.
Like it's okay to have each of those things be distinct people.
I just don't understand how is it. I want to know who's the next oldest fucking GM in the NFL, like solo GM, because Jerry Jones is that. He's 82 years old. There cannot be another we cannot have another GM.
He's got to have at least 2 decades on. He's got to whoever the next youngest.
He's got to be. I mean, a GM at 60 years old is even a bit old. But all right, I can see a couple former players, maybe John Lynch. I don't know. He's on the cusp of that. But how many are 80, 75, and 80? None.
I think we're jumping the gun because we didn't even get to what Jerry said.
I know, but it just sucks that this Amari Cooper deal. Not that I care. I don't even want Amari Cooper. It's not about Amari Cooper. He never was coming back to Dallas. Cowboys didn't want him. Front office didn't want him. But the point is, it was more to me the fact that they got a better deal than we did. And he was still good with us. We literally played Amari Cooper and gave him less looks through Kellen Moore, but it was really through Jerry and Stephen Jones that we know this. We know they said we want to spread the ball out. We don't want to give it to our best players. So by ignoring Amari Cooper in games, that was the game plan, to spread the ball out. That gives Amari Cooper less chances to be what he could be, which he still is. And again, he's been doing pretty not every day, not every game, and sometimes he's had some bad games, but pretty regular in Cleveland there, even with shitty quarterbacks. So yeah, the Cowboys dropped the ball on that the whole way through the last year as a Cowboy, and in the offseason of him being traded for a 5th rounder. Now the Browns get a 3rd rounder for Amari Cooper. Basically Devante Adams, which is obviously Devante Adams to me is a lot better than Amari Cooper.
Yeah. Now,
another trade happened. I tell you there was a bunch of trades. There's a couple of lower end trades, but that was 2 of them. There's a 3rd trade that Jerry Jones says there's no trades going on. The Texans, Houston Texans, they're sending running back Cam Akers, who was a guy I was talking about the Cowboys could make a move for. No, they won't do it. The Vikings, though, they did. Vikings got him. Houston gets a 2026 conditional 6th-round pick in exchange for Cam Akers and a 2026 conditional 7th-round pick. So basically it's exchanging 6th-round and 7th-rounders there. Conditional. If it matters how much he plays. Now, as far as injuries are concerned, Giants, NFC East, right? A left tackle starter, Andrew Thomas, currently in Charlotte, meeting with noted foot expert Dr. Robert Anderson, and I think he's the one that worked on some of our guys. I think Jordan Lewis. Mm-hmm. But his status in the season is considered to be up in the air because surgery to fix the issue, which is very possible, would be season ending. So that's a major loss to the Giants' offensive line, who already had a shitty offensive line, getting shittier. Now, I will say, after the Detroit game, when you have a good game against Zach Martin, you get paid. And Detroit Lions, I talked about Allen Mitchell back in the draft. How I would love the Cowboys to pick them up to be a big man in the middle. The Cowboys don't want big guys in the middle that can do damage. No, they want, and I'm not even talking about Mozzie Smith. That was a miss on Mozzie Smith. But this guy was available, I think, 2nd rounder, wasn't he? Allen Mitchell. The Lions got him, and he's now signed to an extension, 4-year extension off his rookie contract. It's $97 million over 4 years. $55 million guaranteed on that new extension. Huge money. But here's the thing. He beat Zach Martin on Sunday like a drum.
Yeah.
He pressured Zach Martin 50% of the time when they lined up against each other. When you beat Zach Martin half of the time, you get a contract like that. So when you do that to a future Hall of Famer, even if he's on his downside now, I know you've been saying it for a couple of years. We're finally seeing it. Unfortunately,
people are trying to
they're getting their pay,
lock it down before.
Doing that to future Hall of Famer gets you a huge fucking payday, right? And then the bad news there is horribly bad news, as we already kind of knew it and saw it. We showed it to you guys in game day, but that the Lions sack leader in the NFL, Lions pass rusher Aiden Hutchinson, broke that foot, that leg. No, he had a surgery. He did have surgery to repair the tibia, fibula, and there is no timetable for his return to play. A source told Adam Schefter that Hutchinson's season is obviously over. This kind of injury carries typically, at the very least, 6 to 8 month injury recovery timeline. A metal rod was placed in his leg during the surgery.
Damn.
So it's obviously a severe
we
surgery. We
unfortunately saw that injury. It was pretty severe. So, I hope his recovery goes as smoothly as possible. And I really hope that this doesn't end up impacting him in a long-term type of way.
Yeah,
even if there's a good chance that he might
come back,
see him again, and wouldn't want to play against him being as deadly as he is. But we never want to see a player end up losing their ability due to injury.
John Luna said, it's in the shin area where he snapped it. We saw it, like snapping basically at the middle of the left leg to the ankle, like in that area, everything seemed to be shattering.
Yeah, but he basically broke both of them.
Yeah,
and obviously the repair, with the rod, it needed that for the extra stability. So that just lets you know how much more internal damage and stuff was probably done with that type of break. So obviously,
our thoughts to Hutchinson and his, of course, his career, but obviously more him as a human, right? To get right first. What a horrible turn, right? This guy could have been, getting 20 sacks. He could have been the best, mentioned up there with passing Micah, at this point. Right now he's out for this season. Maybe, who knows how much longer? Who knows? I wish the best for him. And it happened, and he basically hit his own player. It wasn't like the Cowboys ran into him and did something.
Yeah, it was a horribly tragic accident.
Yeah. Now, remember that guy Pecco from the Lions?
Yeah, he's the other guy who went back to the Blue Tank.
Yeah, he was walking around and seemed fine. Season's likely over. He had a torn pectoral muscle. So, yeah, it wasn't just edge rusher Aiden Hutchinson that went down for the year. They also lost their inside, one of their internal guys. I don't know if it's a starter or rotation guy, but he definitely is a guy that they used a lot in the defensive tackle spot. Yeah. So he's out for the year as well with a torn pectoral muscle. So now, that's the NFL news. We're going to touch on the Lion games a little bit, but let's get to the big news of Jerry Jones and his fucking clown showage. But what was it that happened today? I mean, look, we talked about the league meetings, right? So before the league meetings, Jerry Jones, Jera. Let me put him extra big on the screen because he was extra big fucking schmuck today. Jerry Jones spoke to the media. Yes. Well, I say the media. He spoke to 105.3 The Fan, I think, and they interviewed him there, as he does a weekly interview pretty much every Tuesday.
Yeah, which, let's be real, I'm kind of surprised he even showed. We had McCarthy was late to his media appearance by like an hour and a half.
Wow.
Yesterday, I believe, or something like that.
But the thing,
saying that I think Jerry was late today too.
So already you're seeing no accountability, not just on the field, but I always say that starts at the top. And it's GM. If a GM fails this bad for 3 years, they'd fire him. Jerry's been doing it for almost 30 years horribly. And no one's firing him because there's no accountability to him. Stephen Jones, Mike McCarthy. Why should he have accountability? I mean, I don't know what happened and why he was late, but it just seems it's always a bad look. And not only that, today's league meetings, Cowboys owner Jerry Jones the league meeting started at noon, 12 noon. He was running down the hallway at 11:59 for the noon start to the meetings, and he politely, because he had people there that kind of ask questions to the owners coming in. This was after what he said you'll hear in a minute, but this is that he politely declined comments because he had to rush inside. So a lot of bad looks.
Not just that, but I honestly no, I think
that was done on purpose. Yeah, because of what he might have said here to the news, to 105.3 The Fan, which was what happened first thing in the morning. So, baby, why don't you break it down? Because he spoke with them and he snapped.
So the first thing he actually kicked it off is by trying to, be a little bit light and make a little joke about the league meetings in Atlanta. Literally, one of the first things he said was, it's probably a good time to be laying low and getting out of town. It could be dangerous out here. So, again, he's not ignorant to the current feeling from inside of the fan base, right? And even after the game, some of his comments, I know we mentioned it during our live stream. I wanted to reiterate them now, right? So right after the game, he was asked, do you think your roster has a talent to be one of those top teams as it's assembled right now? Jerry said, I do. So he was asked, well, why? He's like, I just do. So,
I mean, what does that tell you? I mean,
but he's not really backing it up with, like, why do you feel this way? Oh, because I just feel that way.
he
It's a
feels
feeling.
that way.
Brandon J, what's up? Much love for $3 holler. Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
1, 2, 3 on it. I'm saying go Cowboys, but what did he update us with when it comes to the Lions? I see.
Said Lions signing Isaiah Thomas from the Bengals.
Interesting.
So thank you so much, Brandon.
Again, I just want to reiterate, a lot of people making moves, improving their team. We are sitting on our hands and making no trades. And in fact, and this kind of actually turns into, what Brandon, it's not really, because what Brandon Jay's talking about is a signing. What I'm talking about is trades. But maybe, another thing that could infuriate the Cowboys fan base is when you see all these trades happening, and Amari Cooper being one of them, just Devante Adams, and the upcoming November 5th trade deadline, they asked Jerry Jones, what are you guys going to plan to do before this, with all these holes we have and these injuries? What's your plan? And he said that the Cowboys, quote, "we will not be active." So he surprise. Just to paraphrase, he also says that they will not be making any changes at the head coach or coordinator spots. He points mainly to a lot of details that need to improve during practice. Practice? So now it's practice, like Allen Iverson famously said. But so basically, to me, it means it's on it's on all the players and all the coaches. They have to be more detailed, oriented. They got to be better at coaching and better at playing. No accountability on him, even when it's about the trades. Don't have to improve the team. I gave you guys enough. I gave Dak enough. I gave Rico enough. I gave the offensive line enough. The defense. I gave Zimmer enough.
Like, if you spend enough money, you just get Lombardi's out of the Super Bowl machine.
And that's a crazy thing. We didn't even spend that much money. Like, the Cowboys are the least spending team. I think we have the most money available still on the the salary cap for this season. I think we have the most money available in the NFL. So just proves to you the way the Cowboys roll. It's just they roll with lies, and they use that star on the helmet, the history behind it, the history I got to hear about when I was a kid, and loving my Cowboys even through 3-13, 5-15, 1-15 seasons. 3-13. These are the 80s, the mid 80s, and it was horrible. And experienced the greatness of the star in the 90s, but he uses that and thinks that he can live off the star and Jerry Jones and his big talking ways. That's what he wants to win on, and that's his way, and we keep losing his way. So no trades. We're out the trade market, and no changes at coordinators, no changes at coaches, no changes at staff, no changes at the head coach spot. Anyway, I just wanted to tell you a paraphrased thing there that I had on Jerry. But what were some of the quotes that Jerry bursted me out with here?
Well, buckle up, guys, because these are going to be long. So Jerry got really pissed off, and I have to give credit here to the two gentlemen on 105 Through the Fan, RJ and Sham.
Yeah.
They both,
and Bobby Belt
actually, was there. Bobby Belt was there as well. They all, they tried to hold Jerry accountable. They put his feet to the fire. It's very rare that the Dallas media tends to directly,
we've criticized the Cowboy media for not asking the question, because I made a post once about this. I said, look, you guys just pussyfoot around him too much, because he kind of can fire you and hire you, right? So again, they've licked his ass pretty much all these years, but you just can't avoid it anymore.
I know, and I want to make something clear. 105 Through the Fan, that they, Dallas Cowboys has their own Dallas Cowboy media department. They are not that. They are just a Dallas radio station.
Right, but Jerry has influence.
Now, and not just that, but they actually pay for exclusive access to the Cowboys in this way. So it's not just like a whatever.
Jerry allows them to speak.
Of course, it is kind of a quid pro quo in the sense of they obviously pay for that access because it gets them people listening and stuff like that. So it is a mutually beneficial relationship. I want to make that clear.
Yeah, but Jerry
is not like their boss.
Right.
So,
but Jerry has the most influence you can have.
Went off, got very pissed off that they were calling him out, and basically read them to filth, at least in his mind. Let me go ahead and read what he said.
I should play the audio, but yeah, go ahead.
I mean, you can if you want to, but let me see. If you want to go ahead and set it up while I read the quotes here. Yeah. But Jerry said, quote, "Listen, let me tell you what I'll do about it. I'll let us sit down and look at the decisions we've made over the last several years, okay? I'll look at it. Now, if you think I'm interested on a damn phone call with you over the radio and sitting there and throwing all the good out with the dishwater, you have got to be smoking something over there this morning. I'm not, and I really don't, and I don't even want our listeners listening to me talk about. This is not your job. Your job isn't to let me go over the reasons that I did something and I'm sorry I did it. That's not your job. That's not your job, or I'll get somebody else to ask these questions, men. No, I'm not kidding. You're not going to figure out what the team is doing right or wrong. If you or any 5 or 10 like you need to come to this meeting I'm going to today, these 32 teams here. You're geniuses. Okay. Y'all really think you're going to sit there with the microphone and tell me all the things that I've done wrong and without going over the rights? So,
I mean, what the heck? What? Whoa. Who's getting this? We got Ronald Hess. Hey.
Woo.
We got some gifted memberships, it looks like, and it's from John Luna.
Woo.
Man.
Huge shout out. Thank you so much, Mr. Luna. He just gifted 10 memberships here to the MCF family. Thank you so much, and congrats to Juan Carlos, Roland Hess, I Am Legend 420, Reggie B, CJ Gunn, Hooper, B. Brandon, Ty Church, Kathy Martis, Jordi Fuentes, and of course, a huge shout out to Mr. John Luna. Thank you so much. You know, I believe jumping his way into
he's first
the lead
place
for this week
across the board here when it comes to the overall board, trying to go for that three-peat. He's now jumped in front of Skeptical Fan and Brandon J. And big shout-outs to him on the gifting membership board. The man John Luna trying to reclaim that title. Chill Pill holds that right now. But right now, this week, already, John Luna in the lead. Luna in the lead, man. Much love to him on both boards. And just appreciate you. That's a big way of giving back to the channel. So, again, truly big shout-outs and thank you. You know, I don't think... I meant to say this when Chill Pill dropped it on the game. But when it comes to gifting memberships, I think the record in gifting memberships has been 10. So, Chill Pill and John Luna have... And I think maybe some others have actually done that as well. Hit the 10 is the most gifted memberships we've ever had at one time so far. I think it could go... I don't know if there's any levels higher, but that seems to be the top level. But huge shout outs to you guys for helping out, not just us on our side, but you giving 10 people a chance to drop the emojis. And so when we have a raffle, sometimes there are some extra perks if you're just simply in the membership. So you never know when it might happen. But big shout outs to John Luna, thank you, and go Cowboys. Hey, it's okay to interrupt us, brother. When you're helping out the channel and you help out the people on the channel, in the chat, we appreciate it, man.
And trust me, Jerry had quite a bit more to say.
But again,
I said, he was very defensive. Kind of went on to say, you're really going to sit there with that microphone, tell me all the things I've done wrong? Listen, we both know we're talking to a lot of great fans, a lot of great listeners. And I'm very sorry for what happened out there Sunday, and I'm sick about what happened out there Sunday. One of the stupidest things I've ever done that anybody had ever analyzed was by the Cowboys. It was an idiot that did that. So idiot things can turn into good decisions. Smart things can turn into bad decisions. The facts are, when you make one, you don't really know if it's going to be good or not at the time. You want some conversation this morning, you're getting it.
Oof. Wow.
A big mahalo to the man Marco Seppian coming through with his $5 holler.
I want to know what the man Mark has to say about all this. This unraveling of this. You know, everyone predicted it for years and years. Now it's happening.
Yep.
It's happening.
Mark said, aloha all.
Yes, sir.
You hear Devante's going to another team for a conditional third-round pick?
Yep.
What the F is Jerry Jones? I was right. No Parsons, no defense. Jerry Jones blows.
Yeah, I mean, we just talked about the Devante Adams situation and how, and the Amari, did you hear about Amari Cooper? Mark, Amari Cooper went from the Cleveland Browns to the New York Jets, and I mean, not to the Jets, he went to the Browns to the Vikings, wasn't he? Where did he go? To the Vikings, I think, right? I'm now confused. Now it wasn't for the Vikings. Who did he go to? The Bills. Yeah, the Bills. I don't know why I'm getting confused. He went from the Cleveland Browns to the Bills.
Took me a second to remember.
For a third-round pick. We got rid of him for a fifth-rounder. Jerry Jones, Stephen Jones, the masterminds. Get rid of him for a fifth-rounder, but they get a third for Amari Cooper. What was your analogy about a car? You know,
yeah, like you can't expect to buy a car, use it for 5 years, and then sell it for more money than you bought it for.
And you didn't soup it up or anything. You didn't add anything to it. The man, Marco Sepien, now in second place all by himself. What did he have to say with that 5 on it?
Ooh, thank you so much, Mark. He said, I can't stand Dak, but if he, as in Jerry, signed him and CD early and did not sign Zeke,
it wouldn't be
he
so
has
bad.
the $6 million for Henry. This draft is not looking good either, other than BB. So it's funny.
And BB's had a bad game.
Yeah,
too.
I don't think it's just like, oh, the draft's looking bad. First, I feel like our entire O-line is looking bad, and I can't put it all on the draft. Like, even I have to admit, maybe I'm biased, but even I can't believe that we would miss that badly on more than one offensive lineman. One, maybe. Both? So that makes me think it might be more of a Soliari issue as well, especially because you said it. Zach Martin just had the worst game of his career, bar none. I know he's getting older. I know he has that back issue. I know he's not feeling great. But worst game literally ever.
Yeah, I think
so
the bigger issue...
Sharply?
I think Guyton will be fine. I think you got to give him some time. And BB has looked bad the last couple of weeks. They kept him out there longer because he needs the help.
Yeah.
So my point is, I just think that right now we need more, time on the rookies. Of course, Luafau's playing a big role in there, and he's not looking horrible, but they're still rookies getting the grasp of things. I think by the end of the year, most of these guys will look pretty good.
And of course, the other thing as
Kellen
well that
Carson
you said,
hurt. You can't help that.
We could have made these off-season moves much sooner,
right,
and put ourselves in a position where
open up money.
We actually have a run game.
Exactly. But the Cowboys, the front office, we listen, Dak, or you have Trey Lance at quarterback. The Cowboys ain't making moves. The Cowboys are not going to make a bunch of moves. They just don't do that. So, that the Cowboys are going to always save that money, as that song says, right? So, yeah. We got Mark with another 5 on it, baby. What did the man say with that $5 holler? Marco Sepien taking that second place over.
He said, let me rephrase. The draft sucked. Jerry Jones did not sign anyone. Mm-hmm. Zeke and those 2 defensive tackles were his idea. Overpaid Dak, and we have shit coaching. We needed a running back, not a linebacker.
I'm telling you.
You see, I feel like, honestly, linebacker, Kendricks, that's like the only...
good movie made.
That's the only good movie made.
Because of Zimmer.
He actually was playing good. The reason we're here is because he was injured and not there. So that's like the only good movie made. But like you said, even that move, it's not like it was a good move for an above-average player. Like, we got, I think, a solidly average player performing at the level that we expected him to.
But see, the main thing,
it immediately.
Yeah,
like,
because
he did it from day one.
Because
so that's where we save.
The reason is because
over
of the
a rookie
scheme
that needs to develop.
That's a scheme, though, because he knows the scheme of Zimmer. That's why he was needed. It was a no-brainer, and the Cowboys almost fucked that up with the Niners and let him go to the Niners. So again, it's just the point here. The overall point that I think Mark is making, and we're all making, is. And we've been making on this channel for 7.5 years, is that Jerry Jones is the worst GM in the fucking NFL, and he's hurting our team. He's hurting the Romos. He hurt the Des Bryants. He hurt the Jason Wittens. He hurt the Tyron Smiths. He's hurting the Dak Prescotts. He hurts the Zekes. He hurts all of these. I mean, he hurt Zeke specifically because he overused him because he wanted to because he got paid. And instead of using him smartly.
And in case you're wondering,
it's incredible.
He even cut before they could even finish asking him about in-season coaching changes. Jerry straight up cut him off and said, and I won't be making any others during the season.
Any other trades
he's
or
not coaching.
Oh, coaching
moves.
He's
basically straight up saying, like, I'm not going to fire McCarthy mid-season, suck eggs.
Marco Sepien with another 5.
Ooh. Thank you, Mark. Appreciate you. Much love.
Sorry. You might hear Jerry in the background. I'm just trying to find the thing here. Go ahead. So I see Mark drop the $5 holler. What did the man say, baby?
Wright was there in the 3rd round at running back, and we got a part-time linebacker. How Jerry Jones can sit there and do nothing and defend himself is telling me Jerry Jones smokes crack. That's right, because our 3rd round pick was that Luafau?
Well, it was Luafau and Cooper Beebe.
True.
Who were both 3rd rounders there, but. Yeah, I mean...
The point is that instead we got Luafau, which, while we did maybe need help at the linebacker position,
I understand what he's saying.
The running back could have been literally a starter. Like, an impactful, contributing starter versus Luafau, who's a rotational partially contributing linebacker.
Right, exactly.
The only reason he's contributing more now is because of injury, not because of talent necessarily either. So
not having that fourth rounder is where all the running backs that remained were at. Like, that's where all the running backs were still at. Like, if we had a fourth rounder, we'd be fine. Like, we'd have like, if the Cowboys had traded back and got a fourth rounder instead of a third rounder, we wouldn't have Luafau. He would have been probably been drafted. We would have had one of these running backs in the fourth round. There's a whole bunch of them that were good there in that fourth round. And listen, I think back to Seattle and their running back right now. Not that he's the greatest, but Charbonnet. He sticks out in my head because of his name. But Charbonnet had, like, he's a starter over there in Seattle. Plays a large quantity of snaps. Looks solid. He's a solid running back. And so he was a sixth rounder when we got Deuce Vaughn. He was still there. That's what I don't understand. The Cowboys missed years of running backs, even later in rounds, that could have been good starters, a good rotational, two-headed monster kind of running back duos. It's on Jerry Jones. It's on in the end, it's Jerry Jones's final decision. In the end, he admitted that the buck stops with him, and he's the one that makes the final calls on things. That in the end, if you say that, you got to take the good and bad. And right now, it's on him, in my opinion.
So now, like you said, this is what Jerry said in the morning. Let's just say that those comments went down like a lead balloon. Obviously, ended up some of the biggest news of the NFL today, especially with us being in our bye week.
Yeah, I mean,
right? So then
Jerry Jones must love this.
The thing is that Jerry's comments blew up, I think, even more than he anticipated. Although it seems kind of silly for a man so tuned in with the media. Right, Mr. A. Lavelle? Thank you so much.
In the house.
He's coming through with that $10 holler. He said, "What's up, MCF and MCW? What's good, everyone in the chat? Hope everyone's safe and healthy." Jerry is the problem.
Yep.
He turned a team into a brand, and that's all that he cares about.
Correct.
Yes, Jerry Jones is an idiot with a fragile ego. And that's why he's bothered, because he knows that the brand is taking damage in a way that he can't fix, because you don't have the excuse of, oh, my quarterback is hurt.
Right.
Oh, I'm missing that. Like, there's no excuse here for what Jerry failed to do. And thank you again, Mr. A. Lavelle.
Yes.
I like how Thomas Garrett said straight
specialist.
Ownership malpractice, because it reminds me of Skeptical fans' comment about Dr. Jarrett.
Yeah.
How he should have been sued for malpractice.
Agreed.
Or he would have been sued for malpractice by now.
1,000%. 1,000%. And we got Marco Sepien dropping that 5 on it. By the way, big shout out to you, Mr. A. Lavelle. I hope you and yours are doing well as well. And you guys know we've been saying this for years and years, how the issue is Jerry and Stephen Jones. But the Joneses, the front office, not Will McClay front office, but Jerry Jones front office.
That's right. And thank you, Marco Sepien. He dropped his own $5 holler saying, "We need to be patient with the rookie O-line, but I am skeptical of our left tackle. He's very raw and is leading the league in sacks. Not good. The defensive edge in the second round is invisible."
No,
I
understand. Well, the defensive player in the second round is Marshawn Nealon, and he's out for 6 weeks with an injury.
He was, again, similar to...
This Sam Williams, right? No? Okay.
Yeah, no, I was going to say similar to, oh my goodness, what was his name? Kendricks, there we go. And he was actually playing well before his injury.
I liked what Nealon was giving us, but...
Very early.
It was still early, and I think that, again, now you're not going to see him. The last game, he had one play, and he got hurt. And then this game, he didn't play. He's out for 4 to 6 weeks, or 6 to 8. I don't know. He's out for 6 weeks. That's why you're not seeing him. I'm looking more offensive lineman. I'm going to still have to hold back a little bit on both BB and Guyton, even though I think both will pan out. I know you're a little skeptical on Guyton.
They're going to pan out in some mystical future date. Until then, right here and right now, we got to suffer through them sucking a bit, and who knows for how long, and it's clearly impacting our season already. So it's like, it still begs the question of, like, again, could we have mitigated some of this by trying to replace some of these guys more slowly instead of all at once, is what I'm saying.
This was mishandled. This is the issue with the front office. It's a mishandling.
Or again, anticipating this and knowing this, shoring up some of your more veteran help to maybe get you through it until these young rookies can take over if necessary. So Anyway, shout out to Marco
Yeah.
Seppi, he came through with his
Another $5
holler.
Hey, he's
saying,
he's a little bit back on. He's not too far back on first place.
Yeah.
Man.
He said, if Dak is good enough to reset the market at $60 million, then have him pass to set up the run. We have a top wide receiver and tight end. Cook was a 1,000-yard wide receiver everywhere but here. Honestly, I think that speaks much more to McCarthy than anything Dak is or isn't doing.
I 100% agree with you on that one, baby.
But
over
like I
what
said at
Mark
the
is
beginning of the
there.
stream, that's not to take away from some of the very bad things that Dak has been doing himself. Like, he has not looked great this year, independent of our very shitty scheme.
I agree.
So it is a multifaceted issue. But damn, McCarthy is, again, doing him no favors. He's doing our offense no favors. We look stale, bored.
But do you put some of this on the front office, also not giving McCarthy maybe a couple more pieces for his scheme? And taking away pieces, not adding to it?
Part of the point that he's trying to make there is, again, how are you not getting yardage out of Brandon Cooks? Like, that's the point. Where is that
There's no separation.
disconnect coming from? And is it, like I said, is it just that we got Brandon Cooks by the time that he was too washed up to really contribute in the way that we expected? Okay, so then why are all these rookie receivers not being given the chance? Why are they not, being allowed to even try to step up? So that's all we got, rookie receivers.
Yeah, I mean, that's my point. Like, we have no guys there, and Brandon Cooks can't do it right now. Tolbert's doing the better than Brandon Cooks. So, and he's a third-round pick a couple of years ago. I know we forget about, we were kind of like down in his bust kind of first year, but he's looking a lot better, right?
Yeah.
Still has room to learn, and get better. But
Up and ready, Red. What's up?
Ready,
Yeah,
Red
I agree there. So, do you want to hear what Jerry had to say then directly?
Yeah, I mean, I have it ready. Let's hear it real quick. You can hear the tone of Jerry Jones. We'll shut up, and you guys can hear Jerry and tell me what, and you guys can start writing what you think as we move on from this. But I'm just going to say, I'm going to tell you this, I think you get this. This is my opinion on this whole discussion. When the owner / GM, Jerry Jones, doesn't hold himself accountable, does not, and you'll hear what he said after this, baby, because you have his. He said something after this, which is even doubles down on what he just said. But when a GM does not hold, an owner / GM does not hold himself accountable, why should anyone in the organization? Why should Stephen Jones hold himself accountable? Why should Mike McCarthy hold himself accountable? It's like you guys said in the chat. It's like Al Davis 2.0. So in a way, some people are saying this is like the saddest day ever. Guys, we've been saying this sadness since you've been hearing us saying it. I've been saying it for 2 decades, but you guys been hearing it since the first day we went live here on My Cowboys Family. So yeah, it's not a surprise for me. It's just finally people are seeing it, understanding it, and have to accept this. Yes, I'll talk about the coach in a minute and about this game in a minute after we kind of finish Jerry Jones, and also after we hear from Marco Sepien and his double drop, back-to-back drops, the way John Luna's representing it back-to-back. But right now, not far behind John Luna in first place is Marco Sepien, right there in second. What did he say, babe, with his back-to-back drops?
Shout out to you, Mark. He said, it's not just me. I've heard many commentators say Dak is no longer facing poor teams and running up scores with them. He's too inconsistent. And Tolbert's okay. So, yeah, I will say one of the kind of, I wouldn't say funnier jokes, but one of the funnier comments that I heard after our game was that, Dak was too busy thinking about paint samples for his new house instead of focusing on the game and staying locked in and stuff like that. Because, like I said, I laughed in pain, right?
Pained laughing.
Hey,
you John Luna with the $40 Hunter Lipke drop in the house as he tries to keep that first place safe. That $40 holler, man, what did he have to say, baby? John Luna.
I enjoy supporting the channel. I can't say that enough, but I do need to get some sleep. I'll finish watching in the morning, MCF, and everyone in the chat. Good night, and please be safe.
Thank you. Truly. Appreciate you big time, John Luna. And guess what? Who just took over? Who just jumped over Jet Li 44 on that stream, boss? It is John Luna. Taking over there, has the lead right now on the gifting board, has the lead on the overall board, is our back-to-back sponsor of the week, and a winner in that jersey for the month last.
That's right. Huge shout out to you, Mr.
Big
Luna.
time shout out to Mr. John Luna, and can't wait to get your Houston Astro jersey, their baseball jersey, to you sooner than later. We're going to try our best to get all the jerseys out as fast as possible. So big shout out to John Luna. Thank you, brother. Appreciate you. Now, as we get to, we're gonna be quiet here. Oh, was that both of Mark? Mark had 2 drops.
Yeah, it ended up actually being the same drop, but twice.
Oh.
So shout out to you, Mark.
Oh.
Unfortunately, it did go through twice there like that.
Damn.
But again, like I said, Dak himself is not playing well.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Right. He it feels like his footwork has regressed. Let me be real. It seems like a little bit of his awareness is gone. And the thing that really, to me, is frustrating, and is not even just only a Dak thing, but the connection between CD and Dak is just, it's not flowing the way that it was before. It's still off. We're still seeing them struggle. A
lot of that, and no excuses here. And we're going to hear from Mark in a minute, but no excuses for me. But I do want to make clear that I think, the struggling between Dak and CeeDee has a lot to do with Jerry Jones' decision to not sign CeeDee Lamb earlier and get him in training camp. Now, we can blame that on Dak and CeeDee and the connection. That's on them on the field, but it could have been a lot lessened. We know this because we've seen it work with them before when you have them in training camp together the whole time. And Jerry Jones played dumb.
I'm not even looking as far as blame on that specific issue. It's more just pointing out, like, hey, this is what's actually happening. Like, I don't think we need to point blame. It's not about blame. It's a natural consequence of the mishandling of the offseason. That's it.
Right. And, I do also think that, what was that let me see here. There it is. Okay, it's the Joy, is it the one here?
Yeah, so Mark Hosepian, yes, he did just drop a $5 holler. He said, I would rather listen to Joy Behar and Kamala Harris whisper sweet nothings in my ear and caress me than listen to Jerry Jones. Please, no, Jerry Jones. He's a dick. I know. Trust me, Mark, but you have to hear it for yourselves because Jerry...
Listen to Jerry's response to these questions. And I think this is something we've been saying at My Cowboys Family for 1 billion years. Since the beginning of this thing, and we haven't changed our view. So listen to Jerry Jones. This is the first time he snaps, and you see the cracks that we've been talking about. That's been there, and will be there forever until this guy passes away. Unfortunately, that you see with this team from the top bottom, the no accountability is you can hear it right here. Here it comes.
But I'm not going to sit here and waste a lot of energy, a lot of time. Let's talk about what I should have done back in 1907 or 2017. Shit, Ben. Come on. I've got more time than that, and I actually don't even have time on this great show for looking back at decisions.
Okay. So, Jerry, 1970, a little different from this past off season in building the team we're talking about today, which there was a lot of criticism that you guys didn't add, didn't spend, and don't add, and don't spend, and are not aggressive enough with some of the problems that are still haunting the Cowboys today that we see play out on the field. That's the point of talking about the offseason.
I remember those criticisms very well. Okay, so what?
Are they playing out to be accurate?
What's your point?
My point is, it seems like...
Listen, let me tell you what I'll do. About it. I will let us sit down and look at the decisions we've made over the last several years. Okay? I'll look at it. Now, if you think I'm interested on a damn phone call with you over a radio and sitting here and throwing all the good out with the dishwater, you have got to be smoking something over there this morning. I'm not. And I really don't, and I don't even want our listeners to listen to me, to talk about, this is not your job. Your job isn't to let me go over all the reasons that I did something and I'm sorry that I did it. That's not your job.
Well, my job is to ask why.
Get a job, or I'll get somebody else to ask these questions, man.
Jerry, we're trying to figure out why the team is.
I'm not kidding you. You're not going to figure out what the team is doing right or wrong. If you are, or any 5 or 10 like you, you need to come to this meeting I'm going to today. There are 32 teams here. You're geniuses.
Jerry,
okay. Y'all really think you're going to sit here with a microphone and tell me all of the things that I've done wrong and without going over the rights?
Well,
Now, listen, we both know we're talking to a lot of great fans and a lot of great listeners. And I am very sorry for what happened out there Sunday. I'm sick about what happened Sunday. Now, I'm not talking to these yahoos on the end of this phone. I'm talking to you, the fans that are listening this morning. And we can spend a lot of time going over zigging and zagging. One of the stupidest things I've ever done that anybody has ever analyzed is by the Cowboys. It was an idiot that did that. So idiot things can turn into good decisions. Okay? Smart things can turn into bad decisions. The facts are that when you make one, you don't really know whether it's going to be good or not at the time. So let's just go ahead. I'm trying to answer your questions, man. You want some conversation this morning? You're getting it.
Jerry Jones here on the Fan. Jerry, are you worried about fan apathy setting in?
Well, I'm not worried about fan apathy. If you saw the letters and things I'm getting, that's the last thing from apathy. You're seeing very, very keen, intense passion about what we're not doing and concern about what we're doing. And that's the reason that I love this thing, is because you have that kind of passion. I love the passion.
He loves the
passion. And
passion.
Nobody more passionate.
Well, he's getting the passion from us here at MCF, unfortunately. He's pulling the passion out of us. But you understand and you can hear Jerry Jones, he's obviously very bothered by not the losing. It's more about being questioned on why we're losing, and it falls back to his feet. He don't want it. When it's good, he wants to take credit. When it's bad, he heads for Z Hills. So to me, guys, look, and I'm going to move on. I don't know if you have more on this.
Yeah, the only thing
after this, he spoke.
Yeah, I have
later
his comments
on in the day.
Basically trying to walk back a little bit of the harshness of his comments, but not necessarily his point. He actually said. Yeah. So while he was at those meetings, those NFL meetings, in Atlanta, he explained he sat down for an exclusive interview and explained to Diana Rossini why he went off the way that he did, saying, quote, "I don't know that I would go as far as, calling the volume connotation as yelling, okay? But the facts are that if I'm going to be grilled by the tribunal, I don't need it to be the guys that I'm paying. I can take it from fans and take it from other people. I take a lot of pride in how fair and how much I try to work with the media. We're brothers and sisters. But I was a little frustrated there today. We got in there as of accounting for decisions made in the offseason, okay? They might as well have gone back to decisions made in 2010. My point is, that's from my perspective, there's no question. I'm sure that they would have liked to have grilled me like the fans were thinking, like, oh, what are you going to do about that? And I get it. I get all of that. And I really will go along with it. And he kind of went on to explain even more that his frustration comes from individuals asking him questions, not necessarily like
the questions,
the questions supposedly themselves. Saying the wrong ones were doing the questioning. Now, if those had been real fans sitting there, or if it had been people that knew what we were talking about, football people, I might have had a different answer. He again doubled down as well that he has no plans on making any significant changes to the coaching staff. So as far as sticking with the team, the coordinators, McCarthy saying, of course, not even a distant thought, but the game is repetition. We clearly know what we did wrong, and you can see that the same guys that did it wrong have done it right many times over these past few months. So I know they can go out there and get it right.
Wow.
So he said, we have great personnel and proud of our personnel, and he's not thinking about making any kind of moves before the trade deadline.
Yep. Well, there you go. I mean, listen, I just want to say one thing before the man Marco Sapiens $2 hollers right out the J. Lou 2. But I do want to say one thing. He said 1970 first, and then they corrected him about, there's a difference. And he said now, might as well talk about this offseason, might as well talk about 2010. No. 2010 has fuck shit to do with this season, except for you, Jerry. 2010 is all about, it's about a whole different team with Jason Garrett. We're talking about this offseason and how it affects us right now. It definitely has a connection. That's what people are mad about. That's what Jerry Jones keeps saying, 1970 or 2010. What the fuck is he talking about? This is this offseason, which is this fucking season, which is why we're here now. When in this offseason, baby, remember I said it, and you said it, and we all said it, you guys said it in the chat.
Yep.
Wait till we get to this point when we're having these discussions we're having right now when this team is collapsing. When it happens, or if it happens, whatever we said, when it gets bad, this is getting bad. This is bad. This is horror. This is horrific. And we're gonna go. We're gonna go back.
Of accountability.
Yeah, what I'm saying, we're gonna go back to the offseason and say, oh yeah, remember we missed on this guy in the draft. Remember we missed on this guy in free agency. Remember we missed on this. Remember we did nothing in these 4 months. That is what we're gonna talk about when we fuck up on the field this season. And yes, the accountability is it just happens. It's Jerry's not Jerry's fault. He was just frustrated with the people asking the questions. He's gaslighting. He's saying they're the ones at fault, not him. He's not at fault for answering the wrong guys. The wrong people were asking the questions. That's why he got pissed. That's the kind of shit we're dealing with here with Jerry Jones, and he's been doing this for years. Just no one really is caught on until he just had an outburst, and everyone's seen it now. But we've known this is the way the undertones have been for 3 decades. Now, I want to touch on Marco Sepian's $2 holler. He said, "Whoa. Are JJ and Biden brothers? Both in La La Land?
Yeah.
Maybe they are. I don't know. I think Trump is joining them for the big 3 there. I saw him dancing for no reason the other night. But anyways.
You know what they all have in common?
They're old.
Too old.
Yeah, they're all too old to run something. So, yeah, right now, Jerry Jones.
Enjoy your retirement.
Horrible. And I don't know if there's anything more from Jerry Jones that you may have or not, but I do want to kind of expand on this.
So,
if you have a chance.
not like quotes directly from Jerry, but the thing is that after those responses by Jerry
against the reporter,
yeah,
right?
so Shan, the sheriff from 105.3 The Fan, and RJ Choppy, which are the 2 gentlemen who interviewed Jerry, were on the receiving end of these comments, right? They both actually responded to social media posts about Jerry's comments, saying, so Shan Sheriff said, "One more thing before I truly unload tomorrow. I may not have the ancient football Rolodex Jerry has, but even this football dummy could see what was coming after his laughable, insulting offseason. And I promise, you don't actually want to interact with real fans. Because guess what, guys?
It'd be worse.
We are real fans. I do not think Jerry wants to interact with the real fans who have been really fed up with what we know is wrong with
this
team.
If he was interacting with, let's say, the wife and I, he'd cry. He'd have to cry. What he's going to do, what he's trying to do is sell a product. He's trying to bullshit his way around this and find ways of why. Oh, but if I'm talking to the real fans,
exactly.
I would, the whole difference, I would take that stuff. No, he wouldn't. He's entitled. He's an entitled rich owner of the Cowboys who thinks he does everything right. And you can see this by the moment he's fired Jimmy Johnson. There it is. You can see it from there to this moment. Nothing's changed. And that's why nothing's changed for the Cowboys. So, look, I can keep going here. And I'm going to keep going when you look at, for example, we start with this Detroit game, and you can say that, yes, I do agree that someone like Mike McCarthy is a big problem here. Okay? But we know, in my opinion, Jerry Jones is always the biggest issue, and it will trickle down. So, first of all, is there another option from Mike McCarthy? There is no door number 2 that's better than firing Mike McCarthy mid-season. You let him play out this season. He made his bed. You let him lie in it. But it's his bed made by the Joneses that allowed him to make this kind of bed. Maybe it could have been better. Like for instance, Dan Quinn is making a better bed in Washington on defense, in the sense of getting the guys that he wants, and they're listening to him. That's a big difference there.
Yeah.
So I'll get back to this coaching situation in a minute. But first, Marco Sepian with the $5 holla. What did he say?
We needed defensive tackle, running back, and receiver help. He did jack.
Yep.
Waited too long to sign Dak and CD. Now got a ton of money and won't spend it and can't because there's no one left.
Yep.
A third for Adams was a steal.
Exactly. I agree. And a fifth for Amari Cooper is a steal by Cleveland. By the Browns. And now they got him for a third. They used him for a couple of years, and then now they got a third back. So, yeah, 100% with you, brother. Mark, I understand, and I've been saying this. It's not a surprise. The management of this team waiting too long to sign our good players. They do this on purpose to roll back the money, as we said. And what is the reasoning? Oh, we need this money for later, down the line, for the cap. for next year, for Dak's contract, for CD's contract, and people saying, "Oh, CD's $35 million next year, and Dak's $90 million." And even though that's true right now, we know that you hit a button on the contract and it goes to like $45 million for Dak, and it goes to like $20 million for CD Lamb. So it's just silly to people use that as like next year it's going to be even worse. We have the money. And the people that are like, I'm not talking about nobody in this chat. I know other content creators that like are these Dak haters, just to hate Dak, to try to say that they're right after 9 years, right, of Dak. And the thing is like you have to kind of understand that like the contracts are workable. You can push the money forward, and the money won't hit us as bad down the line. If you support this whole like let's just hate Dak to hate Dak, and that's not Mark Hovsepian. I'm talking about specifically some content creators. If you hate Dak just to hate Dak, then you are literally giving Jerry Jones the pass of all the mistakes that he's done by waiting so long to pay, Dak Prescott and CeeDee Lamb and those guys. So, yeah, agree. 100% there with Mark. And another $2 holler. He said firing Coach Tubbs would set a tone. That's important. And I do agree with that part of it. Firing him and having a plan would be great. But here's the thing. And you thank you, Mark, for the $2 holler, but you led me right into my final kind of points on this Jerry Jones debacle. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if you let him play out the contract or not for Mike McCarthy. The front office is as you know, Mark, is the number one, 1,000% huge issue. The number one issue that will always stop a Bill Belichick, anybody, coach, McCarthy would be better if the clown show was not holding him down. I don't know how much better. I'm not saying he's great, but he would have been a little better if he was able to do more of what he wanted to do than the Joneses, giving him a certain amount of money, or a certain amount of players, a certain amount of people to help him, not giving him the team he needs. The same thing happened with Dan Quinn, and now he's getting what he needs in Washington. Zimmer getting just the bare minimums. All right, the Eric Kendricks barely, and a couple used defensive tackles. A week before the season starts. That is how the Joneses help their coaches and help their players. That's not help. So in the end, it doesn't matter if Mike McCarthy plays out the contract or not. If the front office does not get out of their own way and hire a modern style offensive coordinator, get out of the way of this fucking offense in the sense of their input and their push of being involved in everything, and stop dictating how this team operates on the field, when they stop saying run Zeke all the time, which is what they said, when they stop saying don't focus on our best receiver, everybody gets the same amount of targets just to get Amari Cooper on the way out of here or punish him. That's what this front office does to hurt the team over its ego. It's their ego over the team and winning. So
because again, it doesn't count unless he does it his way,
right? His way,
only his way.
Anyone gets in the way, they're the enemy, right? So and again, that means just say, hey, maybe try something different.
All the way back to Jimmy Johnson.
Yeah,
that's what I'm trying to say.
That's where that happened. Yeah. Jimmy Johnson got in his way. So
anyway,
again, should we be surprised about a team that built a stadium with you could say a blatant design flaw with the curtains that Jerry Jones allows to happen? They would not let a simple thing like Overshown, who represents Agent Zero, is a lifelong Cowboy fan. They won't let her. They said they would not let him wear number 0 because it was, quote, Rowdy's number. Rowdy, the fucking mascot. That's ever since he's been in Dallas as a mascot, we haven't won a goddamn thing. I mean, a division. We haven't got to a conference championship, nonetheless a Super Bowl. Number 0, Rowdy.
That lets you know it's about the brand.
It's about the brand. The wife said, it lets you know it's about the brand. You guys are saying it, but it's about the brand. It's about Rowdy over Overshown. Rowdy, a fucking mascot, over Overshown, getting his number 0. They're the ones that brought back Zeke and paid him as our number 1 running back. This is the front office. It's not Mike McCarthy's choice to bring back Zeke. This is what Jerry Jones wanted. This is the same front office that traded a 4th round pick for a third string quarterback in Trey Lance that they don't use and won't use, and he's not good enough to use. Same organization that traded away Amari Cooper for a 5th rounder after saying 2 weeks earlier they were going to cut him anyways. And now Amari Cooper was traded from the Browns to the Bills for a 3rd rounder. It's incredible, right? This is the front office that we're dealing with. Is it surprising that we lost 47-9? Is it surprising that we have a coach that has to be a puppet? We saw this with Garrett. We saw this with everybody. Wade Phillips. Other than with guys like Parcells, who hit the road after 3 years, couldn't take it anymore, and Jimmy Johnson was fired. Everybody else was a puppet dealing with the Joneses and Jerry Jones is bullshit. It also drafted and overruled some of the better players and some of the Will McClays, let's say, the front office people for Marinelli's guys, and they drafted Taco Charlton over T.J. Watt. This is a team that doesn't look past. They don't. They took this past offseason without any big moves, with lesser players. They didn't replace the good players. Basically a dead man walking in the coach in the last year of his deal, and the whole coaching staff, and the team. 81-year-old owner and GM of this team. Is it a surprise that we're struggling this way? I mean, maybe it should be. It should be more of a surprise that it wasn't earlier we were struggling. Honestly. Maybe the coaching and the players did enough to hide the blemishes of the Joneses that the Joneses were causing. So I don't know. But should I talk about the game now, maybe, or should I go right to the?
Let's do it.
I know you have a couple more quotes, but I don't know if people.
Let's go ahead. Let's talk about the game and get it over.
Yeah,
with,
because this is the worst loss for the Cowboys since 2010, and the Cowboys' worst loss at home since 1988. We're talking. This is before 1-15. This was 3-13 in '88. I remember because I was there. So if you look at the last 4 games, and I guess I'll take the clowns away here. But if you look at the last 4 games for the Cowboys at home, which is the Packers at home in the playoffs, and then of course the Saints, the Ravens, and this disaster against the Lions, the Cowboys at home in the last 4 games at home have trailed by an average of 27.5 points. And that's what they had. We had 8.8 points at halftime. At halftime, losing basically this by the score of 28-9 at home. Our average at halftime is we're down by almost 20 points at halftime. The only time we scored more than 10 points at home in these 4 games, the New Orleans Saints. I'm talking about at halftime. The only time we scored 10 points. Over 10 points at halftime, we had 16. We had scored our first 4 drives with Dak Prescott leading them, but we were down by 19 at halftime, even though we scored 16, and we scored. That's the only time we scored more than 10 points at halftime in our last 4 home games. And I know I have McCarthy up on the screen here, but maybe.
I mean, to me, that just goes to show that he obviously is having a big part to play in some of these stats.
I agree, 100%. And when you dive deeper to, let's say, Zimmer for a moment, the Detroit Lions' newly freshly extended running back, David Montgomery, he forced 10 missed tackles on his own on the Cowboys, on our defense on Sunday. Montgomery had only 12 carries in the entire game, and he forced 10 missed tackles. So that's a missed tackle rate of 83.3%. That's the highest of any recorded missed tackle rate by a running back so far this year among those with at least 10 carries in a game or more. Incredible. Missed tackles still, it was a problem at the beginning of the year, still happening now. And it trickles from the defense, and that's on the Zimmer. That's on coaching and this entire defense. And I will say this, the defense as a whole, can you believe this? I know you see 47 points, you're like, but the defense is actually graded higher than the offense. The defense, yeah. They graded higher, and simply due to the fact that the injuries were deeper on the defense. From the defensive end, we had big injuries at linebacker, at cornerback, at edge rusher. There's a shell of what the defense was supposed to look like. But even in saying that, how many players that were, some of them starters like Trayvon Diggs, how many players quit on tackles in the run game? Poor game plan from coordinator Mike Zimmer, and he'll speak about the fact that he fucked up, and there's no one there for the Cowboys on defense player-wise, no Micah Parsons or anyone like that to step up and save it. So defensively, the Cowboys against the Lions could not get a stop to save their lives. They allowed no punts, this defense. And even though it's not shocking that we did so poorly in some ways with all the injuries, it is shocking that we didn't allow any punts in this game. And it's still disheartening to see a lot of these, open receivers that they were hitting, like Amon-Ra St. Brown and other guys that wide open, Tim Patrick, and our defensive coverage scheme, which is this. He's a defensive backs guy and a defensive zone, coverage mastermind with too many injuries, just unable to really do what we were trying to stop. We just weren't able to do it. So, they also, I want to make one thing clear here, that unfortunately for Mozzie Smith, he was being nonstop attacked in this game, and I said he had a horrible. I saw it happening, and I don't know if we're ever going to get anything from Mozzie Smith at this point. The way he looked for the Cowboys, he was getting run over, double teamed, and shoved to the ground easily without any kind of effort. So that was ugly right there from number 58, Mozzie Smith. And the Lions were not taking this Cowboy team seriously at all. Why do I say that? Because they just wanted to get revenge. They wanted to run up the score as much as possible after last year's offensive lineman mishap, when they thought they won and then it was taken away because they were ineligible linemen.
Yeah.
So they tried throwing a touchdown pass to offensive tackle Taylor Decker. They ran a hook and ladder pass. If you remember, Amon-Ra St. Brown pitched it backwards it's a hook and ladder to Penei Sewell. And he came up a yard short there, the touchdown. They tried to get him in there. They let Dan Skipper run a route as a receiver, trolling us a little bit. And, of course, that big flea flicker play, trick play, to Sam Laporta for the touchdown. We saw that that was the beginning of the end there for the Cowboys. So when you saw that right there, the defense, just a heap of shit, and everybody's in the bucket. Now, when you look at the offense, I'm going to go through it quickly. I know you got some people that spoke. Maybe I know you got Dak that spoke and some others. But Dak Prescott, we'll start with him right now. I'll go from the quarterback all the way down. Dak Prescott, you can say, put a show on for Jerry Jones and his 82nd birthday. He was only 17 completions out of 33 attempts, 51.5% completion percentage. Horrible. Only threw for 178 yards. He had no touchdowns. Threw 2 horrible interceptions. A 42.2 passer rating. That's one of his worst he's ever had. And people say, well, look, Trevor Lawrence, he's getting, not Trevor Lawrence. They say, look at Dak Prescott getting paid so much money. Like, he's getting paid so much. But when you look at all these quarterbacks that are getting paid that market value, I'm not mad at Dak. It's more the Joneses I'm upset about not making this deal earlier. But if you look at guys like Trevor Lawrence, he's getting paid $55 million right now, right? He wasn't the highest paid guy before Dak. And they're 1-5, their team. Mm-hmm. Joe Burrow is getting paid $55 million right now, and they are 2-4 in Cincinnati. So, it's in a way, it's kind of silly to bring up Dak's salary when you're looking at the price bracket for a franchise quarterback, and it can be Trevor Lawrence, Joe Burrow, Dak Prescott. These are teams that are not. Dak has the best record amongst all these guys, but it's not more than just the quarterback; it's the team and. A lot of struggles for all these 3 teams. But my point is, if you're going to bring up Dak Prescott, bring up Joe Burrow and Trevor Lawrence. And bring up those guys. Bring up Jalen Hurts. They're 3-3. They don't look very good. So money should not be part of it. But the franchise determined, the Cowboy franchise determined, the Joneses determined they cannot afford to lose this certain player, which happened to be Dak Prescott, the quarterback of the team. And they paid, even though they waited too long, they paid willingly, the Joneses. Criticize or praise Dak Prescott, and I agree. You can criticize him, you can praise him, but I don't want to hear about the money as much. I know it makes a difference. That's the Joneses' fault.
That's Jerry trying to use Dak's contract as like a human meat shield almost.
Yeah, guys.
To deflect from the actual blame at Jerry's feet by saying, well, why didn't my $60 million a year quarterback get it done or whatever?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, we have the ability to bring in guys here to help the $60 million guy. And whatever you think about the $60 million is what Jerry wanted to pay market value for a franchise quarterback. That's the going rate. And 90% of these guys are not doing that great, including Dak. So it's something that I've always been saying. You got to kind of take it. Either you go for just a low ball, shitty quarterback, a Trey Lance, $5 million a year, and roll the dice with that. You might be 5 wins every year with Trey Lance. So, but you got to find the right guys to match your scheme, your system, and the fucking coaching. And without having Jerry Jones's grimy little fucking hands involved. Mark Hosepian in the house, dropping that 5 on it.
Ooh,
$5 holler.
Mahalo to the man Mark Hosepian, who said, the difference is those quarterbacks are younger and have far less talent than Dak. What happens when Dak loses some talent?
Well, we're seeing it, yeah.
We're seeing it now.
Yeah, we're seeing what happens when Dak loses talent. But this is not something that we knew. If you spread it out and give Dak a little talent, we can still do that. Dak's losing talent not because we don't have the money. Dak's losing talent because the front office don't want to pay for the talent. That's not Dak doing that to the team. That's not Dak's contract, right? That's the Joneses doing this to the team, hurting Dak and the team, by saying Dak, you're getting paid the money, so you do everything. But that hurts the team, and that hurts Dak's abilities. You're not getting the best of Dak. So you guys understand, like, it's kind of like the chicken or egg here.
Yeah. But
we know the Joneses are the foundational issue, no matter what. I mean, it's just the way it is. So I can't blame a guy for going for market value. And that goes for Dak, Joe Burrow, Trevor Lawrence, Jalen Hurts, or whoever it may be. So anyways, so I just say criticize the player. Yes, I criticize the player. I don't really care about the paycheck. That's the business side, and the Joneses are fucking that side up. Now, why are the Cowboys struggling? Is it Dak, or could it be the offensive line? It's both. I mean, Dak is the reason. One of the reasons, but it's also the offensive line. Listen to this, baby. Our offensive line right now, a 49.7% pass rush win rate. All right, for Tyler Guyton, that's not good at all right now. Tyler Smith, 75.5. That is very good. Not pass rush, but pass rush. Yeah, I mean, they're winning the pass rush block wise on offense, so he's doing pretty good there. Cooper, he's ranked 10th out of all offensive guards, but when it comes to offensive tackles, Tyler Guyton's ranked 71st out of 78. Cooper Beebe, only a 55.5% win rate for him at center. Not great. He's ranked 29th out of 35 centers. Zach Martin, usually much better for him, a 68.1% win rate for him. That's 24th out of all offensive guards, out of 73 offensive guards. And, I mean, by far, Tyler Smith is our best offensive lineman. But Terrence Steele, only a 63.7% percent win rate, pass block win rate, which means he's ranked 46 out of 78 guys out there at the tackle spot. So a horrible job by this offensive line for this, and not just this game. This is for the entire year. And when you look at PFF and Zach Martin in this game, Zach Martin graded at 28.3. I've never seen Zach Martin grade so low. That is the lowest grade in his career. His pass blocking grade was so bad, it was a 0.0 on PFF. So, obviously, Dak is part of the problem, and Mike McCarthy is part of the problem, but also our offensive line is a huge part of this problem right now. I think we can all agree to that. I see the man Marco Sipian dropping another $5 holla. What did the man say?
The off is literally the same. Now we have a hard schedule versus, the 30th ranked schedule that we had last year. And yes, the Joneses are idiots. Dak has said it's not about the money, but bullshit.
No, it's not about the money.
It's not, I think it's the better way of saying it, it's not only about the money.
Listen,
it's partially about the money.
We all know it's a business. Dak knows it's a business. And it's not about the money, the reason why he loves to play football. But it is about the money when it comes to his worth or what his value is or where he is in the market. So that's up to his agent to pull the strings for that. So I don't think it's even Dak saying it's like whatever you think I should get paid, then pay me. That's what I should get paid. And if he went anywhere outside of the Cowboys, he would have got $60 million. The Joneses decided to pay the $60 million because they waited so long, and they knew willingly and full-heartedly they knew that Dak would get $60 million somewhere else. They didn't want to rebuild another quarterback. And that's why the Joneses chose to pay Dak Prescott the money that he would have gotten anywhere else in the NFL. 28 other teams would have paid him that. So, again, I don't want to talk about the money part. I criticize Dak's play, not the money. I criticize the Joneses running the money. They're running the money wrong on this team. I don't care what the players ask for. The Joneses are making the bad moves. So, I mean, that's just my opinion, Mark. I mean, I think we're on the same page on this, though. I think we all agree. It's just a couple little smudges here and there maybe we differ on. When you look at the receivers, now Dak couldn't throw shit. There was no offense. He was bad, making bad decisions, bad throws, also no time to throw. And then you got our star receiver and our star players out there as far as our targets. I don't know if McCarthy game planned things, but you see Dak was trying to get the ball to CeeDee Lamb. 14 targets for CeeDee Lamb, 7 catches. So half his targets were caught. 89 yards. The best player on our team, I guess, CeeDee Lamb on offense. He's the best player. Devante Turpin, 7 targets, 4 catches, 24 yards. Jalen Brooks, 6 targets, only 1 catch for 15 yards. Rico Dowdle, 6 targets out of the backfield for 5 catches, 30 yards. Jalen Tolbert, 5 targets, 4 receptions, 43 yards. Only one. He only had one drop out of those there. But, not a bad game for Tolbert. Again, we'd like to see more from number 2. Jake Ferguson, they really locked his ass down this game. 4 targets, 3 catches for only 11 yards for Ferguson.
Yeah.
And Ryan Flournoy killed us, ended the game for us. Not that it was already over. It was already badly played. But he had 1 target, 1 catch, 12 yards, but had that fumble that kind of ended any kind of last-ditch effort in the third quarter to make that comeback. So that's when you look at the receivers. Now let's look at how about we look at the running backs? Believe it or not, baby, the person with the most carries was Ezekiel Elliott.
I actually do believe
because
that.
Rico got hurt. Yeah, yeah. Again, we hardly ran, guys, against the Lions. The Cowboy running backs we only had 13 carries for 42 yards total. 42 rushing yards by all our running backs combined. Zeke had 8 carries for 17 yards. 2.1 yards per carry. 2.1 yards per carry.
Like every single time I read that stat from Zeke, it gets like that number
gets worse. Yeah,
worse
he gets less. Now Rico Dowdle got injured, but he did have 5 carries, only 5 carries in his game for 25 yards. That's an average of 5 yards per carry.
Yeah, he was actually again.
But if it
wasn't for the injury, I think he would have.
But those were garbage yards. Remember?
Yeah, they were.
He got that in the last 2-3 drives there. Those are garbage yards. We talk about garbage passing yards, garbage rushing yards. Now we also had Devante Turpin running the ball. He was out there. He caught the ball a couple times, 4 times. He carried the ball once for 6 yards. We had CeeDee Lamb. He ran once for 2 yards. Cooper Rush scrambled once for 2 yards, and Dak 1 carry for 1 yard. So that was our running game, guys. 42 yards rushing on 13 carries. Just non-existent. The only other thing I have to say tonight, baby, special teams, by far. I mean, again, defense is rated, offense is rated the worst. The worst. The defense, because we were missing some players, was, I guess, a little bit rated higher, which is still second worst, we should say. And then, by far the best, our special teams, guys. I mean, without question, the kickoff rule, John Fossil, that whole, guys, special teams is where the Cowboys' weapons were truly at. So, you'll see, of course, we discussed them already on offense, but Devante Turpin, running back, punts, and kickoffs, really running back kickoffs, he ran it back deep in the end zone. I think that Fossil made a comment, the fact that they just wanted to try new things out by running. At a certain point in the game, the Cowboys just running back the ball 7 yards in the end zone deep. Why? Because see what we can get from that. See, we can try different things. They were just trying things on special teams, and it worked a couple of times. Devante Turpin's speed burst against the Lions, and he had a 79-yard kickoff return. Remember that kickoff return?
Yeah, of course.
The Cowboys didn't score any points on that drive. Pretty sure if we did, it was maybe a field goal. But I don't think the Cowboys scored. I think he might have missed a field goal. We didn't score points on that drive, which just kills me. Everything the special teams is doing for us. Devante Turpin setting us up for points. We have, of course, the kicking game. Brandon Aubrey, doing great in the new kickoff rule, kicking off. But also, of course, I think he was at 3 for 4 of his field goals. Still, I'd say maybe, if not the best, a top 3 kicker in the league for sure. So, and you can't downgrade the Cowboys' coverage on punts because, well, there was no punts or no blocking for no returns. Yeah. We didn't have any returns because there was no punts by the Lions. So, Cowboys special teams did pretty good, I guess. That's the one shining moment there. So, anyways, baby, I know that some of the players quickly spoke after the game as we head into our bye week here, guys, and we wrap it up tonight. We'll be doing some shout-outs here in a minute, but first, have a couple comments and thoughts from the players. So, baby, let's hear what they got to say.
We're actually going to start with a quick little blurb by Stephen Jones, because we actually have a few other things.
All right, you handle it. You got it.
So he was asked on 105 Through the Fan if he thinks there's going to be any significant coaching or personnel changes during the bye week. Stephen Jones said, no, I don't. We've got the right kind of guys on the coaching staff. I feel like we have the right kind of players. I feel like we have the right group here. I don't necessarily know that raising hell is the answer here.
So raising hell meaning firing your coaches or making any kind of major moves. Nothing's going to happen, guys. Nothing's happening. We got that answer. That's good to know.
Yeah. Dak Prescott, by the way, Also gave a long little comment here about his belief in McCarthy, saying the man he is, the preparation he puts into this, the leader. I'll go to war with that guy every single day. And I'm not the only one in that locker room. I feel like everybody feels that. If you heard what he said after that game last night, not something that I care to let you guys in on, honestly, but strong message. Strong message.
There you go. I mean, Dak's fully backing McCarthy.
So
as a good quarterback should.
Yeah, he said thankful for him as my coach, period. Of course, Dak also, was kind of asked about the whole loss, clearly. Sorry, I was trying to think of a different way of phrasing it. So, but the type of loss that we had, he was asked, do you still have, basically belief in this team? Dak said no. I mean, we've got to get better, simply. Obviously, going into the bye week, we're 3-3 with 6 games under us, a long season to go. I've been in worse situations, I guess you can say, in teams and then got it going. Teams that got on a streak, I think about 2018. It's about us sticking together. And I think after a loss like that, there's no better time to test the character of that.
Just a quick little mention. 2018, wasn't that when we got Amari Cooper? Because that's when we had a bunch of losses. We made a move, and it changed the trajectory of the team.
If I'm not mistaken, yes, it is.
So my point is that we're not making any moves. Sorry, Dak, no changes are coming like that.
So, yay. Hip, hip, hooray. So, adding in there, he said, that there were 2 different teams here. Because, again, referencing that Amari Cooper move that was made back in that 2018.
Mm-hmm. That is. At least he acknowledges that.
He said it. Referencing that team, I was just saying it. We were 3-5 before we got rolling. Don't plan on being 3-5 with this team. However, that's up to the front office. You know what I mean. I've got a lot of confidence in the guys we've got in the locker room. Young guys coming out. You see Tolbert play in and play out, day in and day out, game in and game out, getting better, making plays. We'll get Brandon Cooks back healthy. Leave it up to those guys. My job is to make sure I continue to push the locker room, make sure they understand their role, and how to be better in their role.
I mean, he's doing what a leader should do in the locker room.
Yeah.
But, that's all I can ask for from him.
So, and then he just shared some nice sentiments about Adrian Hutchinson and his injury, basically just commiserating because he's saying, yeah, I went through something similar.
You got it right there in that same field.
So, there you go. And that was it, at least, from Dak Prescott.
Okay.
Oh, a big mahalo.
Yeah.
Thank you so much to Marco Seppian.
Dak Prescott out, Marco Seppian in with that 5 on it, that $5 holler. And I'm going to be honest, I mean, still a little bit away from John Luna after that last drop, but not that far away. Not that far back on first place. What did the man Marco Seppian have to say?
Sick of Dak and his politically correct BS. It's not the money, yet twice he demands to reset the market. If your coach is an idiot and he would go to war, please shut the fuck up.
Again, all I'm going to say is I completely understand what Mark Seppian is saying here, and I do get it. We know that Dak has to be politically correct. It's a united. Think of your parents, right? You always have united front, right? Whenever they might have disagreed, but they say the united front. We know Dak doesn't agree with the front office. Dak does not maybe love everything McCarthy's doing, but united front. You got to keep it up, and I think that's better than the other option, which is like Dak just complaining about McCarthy or complaining about the front office. Let us complain about that. Let the Cowboys keep that inside. Their 4 walls, but. I understand the frustration because I hate hearing the same old Dak. We trust. Well, I'll go to war for this guy, but Dak doesn't go to Dak needs to be a better leader, a takeover guy to me on the field, which I don't see him doing as much. He still listens to everything that the general is asking him to do, which is Mike McCarthy. So yeah, I hear you. I hear you, bro.
So, Mike McCarthy, by the way, he was actually the other person who spoke, and I have 1 or 2 comments from the other coaches, but Mike McCarthy's are obviously the most important because he said our basics are not in order. It's all about solutions right now. We aren't going to recreate the wheel. We need to get our fundamentals and techniques and get the basics going. I believe that we will as in get to where we want to go. I think this is an opportunity that we relish. I know I relish it, and I think they do too. This is a place a lot of good can come out of it, and we've been here but done that before. This will pay forward. In my experience, it always has. When you play young players this much, and you play this many different players this much, I think the long game has a chance to be very bright.
Well, again, this is more of that, front office, or not front office, but the head coaching kind of BSing, just giving us the answers we need to hear. I hope we can. I gotta fix it. That's the only choice. It's almost like dead man walking. I get that feeling he's kind of given up on the year. It feels like it, at least.
So, but yeah, that was it as far as that side of things. The good thing is McCarthy did have a quick little injury update on Micah Parsons, saying that, he's not sure if Mike is going to be ready to go for that San Francisco game. Saying that's a big week, or this is a big week for him. He's making progress. So,
all right. He's out of the boot. He's off the scooter. The expectation is going to be ready in 2 weeks. I really hope so. It's a high ankle sprain. Those always last a little more, but Mike is a competitor. He's going to try to get out there. So that's the injury updates, really, as of right. There was no real big injuries in this game.
Yeah.
By the way,
somehow
but we're still suffering through the old injuries, and hopefully, some of these guys, like I said earlier last week, Deron Bland, Micah Parsons, comes back for the Niner game. Deron Bland comes back for the Niner game. I think Brandon Cook's still out. So yeah, that's pretty much, those are the guys you want back here. Kendricks back for the Niner game. That'd be nice. Injury updates. That's the best. That's some injury updates I can give you. Marco Seppi, another 5 on it. I'm gonna try to give him a more. I think he's like 20 away from like first place, if I'm not mistaken. I'll double check it. I gotta double check it. What did the man say with that 5 on it?
Oh, he said, "I really hope that we continue to lose. This is the only way Jerry Jones will perhaps make a change. If not, expect 20 years more of good teams and then losses in the playoffs."
I will never say that. I'm sorry. I can never get myself to say, I want to see us lose. I can never do that. I just can't physically do it. But I understand if we lose, it increases our chances to get a better pick and a better player, and maybe wakes up Jerry Jones. But right now, I think the embarrassment of the way we're losing is even maybe worse than just losing. The embarrassment is obviously this is getting under Jerry's skin. So yeah, you know what? I'm not saying if we gotta lose, let it be in a way where it makes Jerry upset. You know what I mean? Like I know that means I'm upset too, but at least it makes losing. I don't want to lose. No, I want to win every game. But if we have to lose, make it whatever the way it is, whether it's by a lot of points or I don't want to have a last second loss. That hurts me more. But let Jerry see the losses hitting him, and then we may see maybe some kind of alleviation of general manager duties. Although I'm still dreaming about that. Got to do that. I think the best move we have, or the best chance we have, is that Stephen Jones, when he takes over and Jerry Jones dies or can't do it anymore, Stephen Jones takes over as the owner, gives the GM duties to an actual GM. Exactly. You know what I mean? That would be the best
Creates
hope.
That separation. Remember, one of the reasons that I actually do think that there's a good chance that could happen is because right now, Jerry is the lightning rod, right? Steven can do whatever. Jerry takes the heat. What's going to happen when Steven is the one who's there taking the heat, so to speak? Like, I don't think he wants it / looks forward to it the same way that Jerry
And you don't handle it very well either.
Yeah.
But he is involved in that committee what is that? The NFL, what is it? The rules committee and all that stuff. Stephen Jones. So he is involved in it, but more behind the scenes than it is out front taking the heat. Like Jerry Jones does. Or Jerry Jones creates the heat, honestly, most of the time.
So, but yeah, so I'm Jones. What's up? Much love.
Yeah, what's up?
Huge shout out to everybody here chilling, hanging with us, dropping the love. Thank you again. Big mahalo to the man, Mark Hovsepian.
Yes, thank you, sir. And by the way, John Luna down to 66 points on the stream, boss.
Woo. So, I think I kind of mentioned that McCarthy said that he's not sure if Mike is going to be ready to go for that Niners game, saying that this is a big week for him and he's making progress. So
yeah, you mentioned it.
All right.
We talked about it.
Perfect. So I think that was it from McCarthy. So,
That's
yes.
not it from Justin Dean, the place to be. He said, with a $2.40 holla, he said, stop buying merchandise and they'll go to games. 214. That's the 214 he dropped. Justin D. Agree. Remember we had our thing a couple years ago when Jason Garrett was the head coach. We said we have gear for years.
That's right.
We advise you guys that do have cowboy hats, shirts, jerseys, whatever, everything, jackets. Use those to represent. Don't hurt the star. You know, I mean, we still fans, but don't give Jerry Jones that money. You know, our jerseys that you win from us, that we give here, those are not from Jerry Jones. You can bet that money is not going to Jerry Jones. So the point is that the less games you go to, the less stuff you buy. 100% agree with Justin D. what he's saying, and I think Justin D. remembers the days of us talking about gear for years. Wear your Cowboys gear that you've had for years, because we got enough gear that will last us years and years. We don't have to buy shit from Jerry Jones. We got 50 jerseys in the closet, 10 different hats each. All kinds of fucking shirts. I'm just saying, we got enough gear for years. Use your gear for years. Don't go buy new shit. That's how you hit Jerry Jones where it hurts the most. If we all did it all at once, Jerry Jones would feel it.
Yep.
So anyways, I'll digress. Great comment there by Justin D. I'll put you on that board as well in a moment as you continue telling us what happened, baby.
So the final little comments here that I have are John Fossil. As far as Devante Turpin returning kicks out of the end zone, Fossil said, they were kicking some deep balls and our guys wanted some competition. So we went to coach, see if we could start bringing it out of the end zone, and he gave us a green light.
So McCarthy gave the green light to take the ball out of the end zone on those deep kicks we were getting our asses handed to us. So, yeah, he's just like, see what you can get going, basically McCarthy's thinking. We lose some yardage on it, we lose yardage. It's just a trial period there, and that's what I kind of also had heard. So
Mike Zimmer also was the other coach to have spoken, yes. So he emphasized that guys have been working hard this season, so good to know. I didn't know there was I guess there was some doubt about that considering their performance.
There's nothing said about the fact that there was some I could have sworn he said there was a lot of mistakes here.
Yes, I mean,
okay. I thought you were done. I'm sorry.
No, but he said, they've been working in the extra film room and doing the extra work behind the scenes. Also threw in there that, it's shown up against the Steelers and the Giants. But he knows it didn't show up last week, but that they're going to keep grinding anyway. Zimmer also said that he thought that the defense was making progress the last 2 weeks and that,
really?
He expected a better showing against the Lions by the defense, saying
he was a little surprised. Huh?
Now he did say I probably panicked on some calls early. When we've been bad, it just steamrolls.
So he does admit some mistake there. He panicked on the play calls. I do think he's also maybe covering a little bit for the young guys taking the play calls on the field. The green dot, whether it was Nick Vigil or Damone Clark or one of those guys. But at the same time, he was probably worried about making sure those guys knew what they were doing, and then he kind of panicked and fucked up. So, yeah, he takes on a huge responsibility on the defensive side for the Cowboys. With missing all those guys, he has to make his message clear. It has to be easier for these younger guys to get the handle of it. If you throw them out there and they just got to go with it, then you're going to see what happened. 47 points scored against you. So, yeah.
So, but yeah. So, that was it from Zimmer and the coaches, at least on my side here. So,
is that was it? We're all caught up then? Well, that's a wrap here, guys, here on My Cowboys Family. Yes, I got the boards updated. Big shout out to John Luna, who's right now, I think he's like 20 in front of Mark Hovsepian, who's right behind him on the overall leaderboard as our 1 and 2s right here. We got Mr. A. Lavelle with the drop a little earlier today. Big shout out to the silver level man. Skeptical fan, always staying skeptical. Also on this board here in 4th. Brandon J in 5th and Justin D in 6th. Kicking off the board. A brand new week. Big shout outs to those that dropped the love. And also, I know we don't have a Cash App drop yet officially, or PayPal or StreamYard or whatever. But we do have 10 gifted memberships from your man, Mr. John Luna, trying to come back and get that there. Big shout outs to him. And he's also taken over the Stream Boss. 64 points from him. He took it over from Jet Li, 44. Also, big shout outs to the current Cash App King. There is no leader, but there is a king, and he represents the crown this entire week. Big shout outs to Skeptical Fan. Again, back-to-back, John Luna, sponsor of the week. He's trying to go for that three-peat as he is in the lead currently on night 1 here at MCF. And you see the gifting champion is the greatest of all. Chill Pill, 10 gifted memberships. The 2-time gifting queen. Big shout outs to her. She's right now the 3-month champion in a row over on After Dark, which probably not doing the After Dark thing tonight, but tomorrow we'll be back at it. But yeah, guys, that's the way it kind of rolls there. I think right now, we got John Luna leading that board right now, the gifting board, and that's kind of the updates on that side of things. Hit me with some comments and / shout outs on the way out of here before we can call it a night here in MCF.
We have a True Cowboy. Peace and love to you.
Yes.
Matt Batten saying, great show, guys. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Justin D said, I'm a lifer. I'll be here till I die.
Appreciate you, Justin. You've been here for a while. Appreciate everybody in the house.
Yeah, being a Cowboy fan is a life sentence.
Yep.
So.
Unfortunately.
Rolling back. Yeah, China, thank you for hanging with us. We have Ramona and Emily Jones. Matt Batten. Rolling back a little more here. Asik Aguilar 04. Jared. Mark Hovsepian.
Yeah.
I just want to make sure I don't miss anybody here. I think that's as far back as it lets me go, at least on my side.
I know we had Godless and Harley Dad and a couple others jumping in here earlier. Appreciate all of you guys. Freedom First was first, I think. On that note, it is time to wrap it up for the night. We'll be back here sometime over, I say what, like Friday, Saturday, one of those days we'll be here. This might be a 2-week kind of thing, you know what I'm saying, for the champion. So we'll see how this goes. It might be a 2-week streak. Either way, though, we coming out strong here. John Luna, big shout outs to him. Back to back, going for that 3-peat. Stream boss, gifting champion, who knows what else. Anyways, guys, on that note, it is time to get on out for the night. Baby, remind them why we do this here at My Cowboys Family for as passionate as we are and as long as we do this for.
Is that navy blue? That silver too, and that star over everything.
Win, lose, or draw, good, bad, or ugly, right here on MCF, we always rep that star for everything, and we give it to you rough, rugged, and raw, guys. The real, the passionate, that's the way we are. We give the passion, we give you the true feelings of a fan with a little bit of football knowledge. Here on My Cowboys Family for 8 seasons of doing this. In our 8th season, over 7 years on YouTube. Here on My Cowboys Family, never forget the number one thing here, now, and forever. As always, go Cowboys. Let's get that 6 and beyond. Thank you guys for dropping your knowledge in the chat all night long. All night. 2-hour stream here, over and done. Like I said, unless anything major happens, any trades or any kind of signings, we'll get you some information this week. It is a bye week. We're definitely going to try to see if Seabass is going to join us for a little bit of a one-on-one after this embarrassing performance by the Cowboys. And as we turn the page preparing for the Niners. That'll be later on in the week, towards the weekend. Fan Friday or Saturday, we'll be back with more. So thank you guys on that side of things. Thank you guys for dropping the love from above. Can't do this without your fantastic support. Thank you guys on that. And as we clock out and drop out for the night, relock and reload for another show. Getting ready for the weekend in a couple of days. The Friday show, I'm trying to say. So we'll see you guys then. Guys, on that note, it is time to get out of here. Maybe before we can officially drop out for the night, what do we got to do?
We got to drop the beat.
Oh, yeah. That beat's been dropped. It's a wrap right here, My Cowboys Family. We'll be back at this thing on a Friday or a Saturday coming up, unless something major happens between now and then. We can take that damn score off the screen after this stream's over. Back to more normality, I guess, and a little bit of break of the craziness and the madness. Thank you guys again for joining us for this wrap-up, for all the Jerry Jones bull crap that he said, and all the news, info, and updates on our Dallas Cowboys right here for another Cowboys chat. It's that special little recap hit of this horrible, one of our worst losses we ever had. The Detroit game. Ugh, that was ugly. Jerry Jones can't even keep his cool in anymore when the truth is brought up to his face, and it's on him. He wants the credit when it goes good. Well, 30 years of it not being past a damn divisional round. Or, no game to the conference championship. You've been failing, Jerry. You've been fired. But somehow he's still here. No accountability. Here we have all accountability. On MCF, it's about that navy blue, that silver too, and that star for everything. Never ever forget the number one thing here on My Cowboys Family. You guys bringing it every single night. Appreciate you all. Much love. Hit that like, hit subscribe, hit that notification bell to make sure you know when we're going live. And make sure you follow us on Discord. Jump on and follow us on Twitter or X on at My Cowboys Family there. And guys, stay safe. Appreciate you all. Much love. Peace out. And never, ever forget, no matter what, never, ever forget, go Cowboys!